All right. All right. What is up? Hold on. Okay. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully, more gentlemen than ladies, but we'll take all we can get. But tonight, we are doing our third episode of Menspiration. This is something that I believe God laid on my heart to inspire men to be bold, to be courageous, to step up and do their parts. And I got my brother Chris with me. And as we grow, as we keep going with this, we're going to have more and more men coming in because there's so many points of view that we can bring in from other guys, and we're going to have other men coming in and giving their point of view on the topics. So tonight, as you see, episode 3 is the Family Guy. And so tonight, our menspiration is about the men who are um, doing their best. Obviously, we preach the fact that men are not perfect. We are not perfect, but we do our best. We're trying, and so the whole point of this podcast is to encourage men to be bold, to stand for what is right, no matter what the cost is, to protect their family, to provide for their family, and most importantly, to follow Jesus Christ. So that's what we do with this podcast. And so, menspiration. All right. So, Chris, when you hear the word menspiration, obviously it's an amalgamation of two words put together: men and inspiration, inspiring men to be perfectly imperfect, to inspire men to be their best selves every day. What is that word menspiration? When you think about it, what does that word mean to you?
It's just it's like you say, inspiring men to do their best every day, man. It's hard out here for one as a black man just by itself. You understand what I'm saying? To out here, and then on top you have a family to provide for. You have family to protect, and as a man, you want to do that properly and in the right way. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So, um, inspiration, it for me is almost like a guidance to help me do things right in Jesus' eyes.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? As to follow his guidelines is to be the head of the household, as the
Right.
man is as the man is to be. Um,
Okay. So
not
look,
perfect.
look. Okay. So when you say being the head of the household, when you talk about being the head of the household, what does that entail to you? Like, what do you say that is? Or how do you define head of the household? Like, what do you think the responsibilities are? What do you think being the head of the household entails? Like, what is that?
Like it's kind of a hard. I don't want to say a hard question to answer, but some people may look at it differently. All right,
Right.
because I've just had this conversation with one of my homeboys at work. He was like he's the man of the house. He's the head of the household. Cool. So he's like, I tell my wife what to do, this, that, and the third. I got I got full control of the house. I'm like, help me understand that.
Right.
I'm not understanding that. Like, she do the cooking, the cleaning, this, that, and the third. I'm like, so what do you do? Nothing. But I don't I don't understand that.
But see, you you're
Me
you're
as the
you're,
head
you're
of the
making a good
household, man, huh?
you're making a good point because I mean I don't know the man you're talking about, and we're not judging him, but the
Yeah, no.
point is that what someone else might see as the head of the house, they might think this means I'm in control. This means I'm the king of my castle. This
No.
means I'm the head honcho of this house. And to an extent, that is true. But then sometimes we carry the fact that we're the kings of our castle into
Too far.
tyranny. We become despots. We become big bad wolves. That ain't what being the head of a household is.
No, by
Like
no
like
means.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying, but I was agreeing with you. By no means is that's not the definition of being a man of a household. Being a man, stand on business when it comes to family. Stand on business when it comes to making sure you're providing what your family needs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even if it comes down, you could be out of work. Your wife could be the main one working. If you're taking care of the house when she has nothing to worry about when she get home, you're still the man of your house.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? If even if you're working and she come home and she taking care of the house, but you come in and you take care of what's need to be done elsewhere, you're still the man of the house.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
But it's I don't feel like that there's a certain role placed on a woman should be in the house doing this, pregnant and barefoot, cooking all the time.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm
Right.
saying? That's not what I don't see that, bro. I never understood that. You know what I'm saying? It's a cooperation with me and my wife. Of course, I'm the man of the house. So when there's a situation that come to decision making, yes, we talk about it and we communicate and we work out a solution. And then the final word is still on me. But even then, I deflect it back to her like, okay, whatever you say, I got you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I have her back. She has my back, period.
Right.
But that does not mean I'm not the man of my house.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
See. A lot of times people think that being um I get what you're saying. Like it's kind of hard to, it's kind of complex to put it in words.
Right.
But sometimes we think, especially when you look at like the red pill community and all of this stuff, where they got, in order for you to be a man, what's masculine is to talk disrespectfully, to be a grouch, to so so to speak, put a woman in their place and all of this. Like
Yeah.
you ain't got to do that. If you know your place, you ain't got to worry about nobody else's place. If
Exactly.
I know what I'm supposed to be doing, I just need to do my job. And if I do my job, that makes me the man of the house. Like there are some, and I understand to an extent, again, some things as men we can work on. Some men are more timid and they kind of, for lack of a better word, they kind of hide behind their wives or they hide behind their women. And
Right.
we don't want that. We don't want to do that. Like when there's a decision, like you said, when there's a decision to be made, then man, that's your job. Make the decision. And there is nothing wrong with conferring with your wife and talking it over or whatever, but ultimately the decision comes down to you.
You
So
right.
then you make the best decision, putting the best interest of your family ahead of everything else. So then when you do that, you don't necessarily worry about what other people do at their house or how this person handles it or how this person perceives it. I'm doing what's best for my house. What's
Right.
best for my house might not be the best in your house, or what's best in your house might not be the best in my house. But each family dynamic is different, but we still got to remember that we have a role. God gave us a role, and we must fulfill that role.
Mm.
No, it ain't for the wife to be pregnant and barefoot, and that her only job is just sitting around having children. No, the Bible says that a wife should be a good keeper at home. So then, when you think about being a good keeper at home, yeah, it has some homemaking duties or whatever, but it also entails. I'll always say this: my wife makes my house a home. Like
Right.
before she came
Right.
here, it's a house. It's a house where people live.
Mm-hmm.
But when she came here, she put her touch to it. Then you could feel the love and the compassion she puts into
Right.
everything from cleaning to cooking to whatever she's doing, reading the Bible. She's teaching the kids the Bible and all of this stuff. Like, and she's like a big part of my ministry is my wife. She does a lot dealing with the children and and just teaching them in ways that I'm like, yo, I can't teach like her. Like
Right,
she's
right.
really good at teaching, but she has a thing where she can connect to children. Like they like to hear her, they like to listen to her. Hey, you got it. You're making
Exactly.
my job easier by deferring to you. That doesn't make me less of a man. That doesn't
Right.
make me a piece of man or a wuss or whatever. That I see my wife's strength and I play to her strength. There are some men who have wives that are better with the finances. Then guess what? You better let her hold the money
Handle them
because you're gonna
finances.
mess it up. There are some men that have wives who may be better at different things. Okay, she might be better at that. You're not less or a lesser man because your wife is better at something than you. You're a
Right.
smart man to say she's better at this than me. Let's let you handle that.
Handle that. Right.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Now, mind you, you don't. That doesn't mean, well, my wife is better at me than everything, so I don't do nothing. Like that's
No.
a cop out. That's being
Yeah.
lazy. That's being sorry. And that's like no, that's not being a man. We're here to
At all.
inspire men that no matter how wonderful your wife is, no matter how wonderful that woman is you have in your house, you still have a job to do. You can still compliment your wife. Like we believe in complementarianism, and basically what that is that the wife compliments the husband. She is a helpmeet to the husband, and vice versa. The husband is a complement, a helpmeet to his wife. There are some strengths that the husband has that he is naturally better at than the wife, and vice versa. There are some strengths the wife has that she's better at than the husband. It ain't for these things to
Collage. No.
against each other. They need to work together.
Mm-hmm.
They need to
Yeah.
work together.
I'm with you on that 100%. You.
Because, like, you look at some of these podcasts, you look at some of these different ones like Andrew Tate and different guys like that. What they call masculinity, what they call being manly, is, and mind you, I'm okay. I understand that a lot of the women on their podcasts are more liberal, and they're not necessarily godly women, and they think wrongly, and they're they way left. I understand it, but that doesn't mean you have a right to talk to them any kind of way. That doesn't mean you have a right to devalue them and speak to them as if they do not matter. Like, that is not okay. We got to be very careful with that, because the way we treat our wives, the way we talk to them, mind you, this is menspiration. It ain't just for the men. We're raising young kings. We're raising young boys. We have to teach them how to treat their wives. We have
Right.
to teach them how to treat their women. We got to teach them about being romantic and compassionate and being gentlemen. We got to teach them this, because if they don't learn it from us, if we're not the better role models, then where are they going to learn it from? Because the world isn't going to teach this to them.
Sure ain't.
The world isn't going to teach this to them. The world is going to teach our young boys how to be pimps or how to be gangsters or how to be this, that, and the third. But we are the ones, we, the fathers, we're the ones who teach our young men how to respect women. That
Mm-hmm.
they're not the names that they're called in the music, and they're not the names that they're called, even they call themselves. I'm a bad this and bad that. They're not those things, because my mother is not a B. My
Right.
wife is not a B. My
Right.
daughters are not B's. My sisters are not B's. They're young women. They're women who are loved. They should be honored, and they should be protected. And we don't protect our women. Like, when we listen to the music, we're not protecting our women, because somebody should be caring about these young ladies. Somebody should be caring enough about them. Hey, don't call yourself that. You don't have to make a song talking about what color this and that is. We don't need to know it. That's for you and your husband. But guess what? At the rate you're going, young lady, you probably won't ever have a husband because, or not even a serious relationship, because nobody wants a woman or a wife that talks this way. Or at least if you do, that's in your personal time at home. But you don't want
Mhm.
no woman out in the street talking about this and that and the third. It's a bunch of stuff. But again, that's showing that there are no fathers. There's a lack of fathers.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff, because mind you, a lot of the attention that these young ladies who dress inappropriately and uh shake their stuff all over and dress like that, a lot of the times they're seeking the attention that they didn't get at home from their dad.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I follow
And
you.
even in other cases, there are some young men who turn to homosexuality because they didn't get manly man-to-man affection from their father. So then they're seeking that fatherly love in an inappropriate, impure relationship.
Right. I follow you. Yeah, definitely. I,
Yeah, talk to me, man. What do you think?
I got 4 boys, man. I got 4 boys, and I love them to death. And I'm doing. And my wife will tell you, I'm trying to teach them the right way all the way.
Right.
My youngest is 4. He just graduated today. I'm so proud of him. You know what I'm saying? My mom,
Congratulations, Junior.
yeah, my only goal is for them to get out there and be good, man. Like, be the proper young man that you're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Grow up and find your wife and treat your wife the way she deserved to be. You know what I'm saying? As a
Yeah.
man, we want a woman that's gonna have our back the same way we had their back, and we're gonna protect them and to love them. And I tell my wife all the time, that's my queen. That's my queen. From day one, she's been my queen. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So I don't want. It's hard to raise your children to your boys I, in this world the way that it is, and everything is being showed on TV, social media, and whatever they look at is homosexuality, violence, death. It's every time you turn around, it's something to that effect. And no matter how much you want to protect them from that, they're going to see it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You just have to be the man to guide them, give them the right tools. You know what I'm saying? Speak to them and let them know, okay, as a man, this is what you're supposed to do. As a man, you follow this path. You know what I'm saying? And keep your mind on Jesus and let him lead you the way. You know what I'm saying? So I'm 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 not perfect by no means, bro. Because I'm just doing the best I can as a father. You feel me? And with my wife help, we've been holding it down. We got 21-year-old. He out there doing his thing, grinding. My
And you know what?
16-year-old.
I am proud of that young man. I am
Yeah.
proud of him. Every time I see his posts on Facebook about his cleaning, you know what I'm saying? He do
Mhm.
cleaning, he do moving, he do landscaping. Man, that Joker do it all, man.
Yeah, he got his hands in a lot of whole lot.
Man,
Yeah.
like that's an entrepreneur. Like, but somebody had to instill this in him. Somebody had to push this young man. Like and this ain't no disrespect to nobody. Matter of fact, I got my 5-year-old Jace. He's in basketball. We let him do basketball, and he's good.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know where he get it from. He don't get it from me, but he's good. But at the same time, I'm teaching my children it's more to life than dribbling a basketball.
Yep.
It's more to life than running with a football. These things are great, but the percentages of our young black men that actually make it to that level where they're making some money to feed their families is very small. It's a very small window. You better learn landscaping. You better learn a trade like one of my boys, he's not as good at math. He's not good at math.
Mhm.
He's horrible at math. And ain't nothing I can say to him, not one thing I can say to him, because when he bring me some of the stuff and I look at it, I'm like, man, bro, I can't help you. We gotta get you a tutor. And so we
Right.
work on getting this man some tutoring. But it's like I can't be mad at him. I'm horrible at math too. But what I'm learning is okay, look, because he's even got to the point where he's so frustrated with math that he's like, why do we need this anyway? We don't need this kind of math. We don't need. And I'm like, look, man. And I told him about the black lady who solved some type of problem for NASA. And I was telling him
Oh
with math,
yeah,
she did it,
yeah.
and nobody else could do it. And it was a black lady who did it. And I told him about her. And I'm like, look, man, you might don't think you need this math. And to be honest, a lot of the stuff that they're doing in math probably won't necessarily need it. But in order for you to graduate from high school, in order for you to even have a thought of a good school, you got to pick up in that math, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm pushing them in that math and encouraging them, even though I know myself, I'm looking at this stuff and I'm like, I don't even know. I have no
Mm-hmm.
clue what he's doing. And you know, I understand his frustration, but at the same time, I'm also telling him, look, I'm giving him plan B. Plan A is get this math done, figure this
Mm-hmm.
math out. We're gonna get a tutor, we're gonna get whoever we need to help you to learn this stuff, to understand this stuff. So that's number one. That's plan A. Because I want you to figure it out and go further. But let's just say this block he got with math persists, that it doesn't quit. What's plan B? Plan B is you need to find yourself a trade.
A nice trade.
Already, he's just getting into high school. He's already talking about, well, Dad, I've been thinking about HVAC technician, and I've been thinking about auto mechanic. Yes. Think about a trade where
Yes.
if push comes to shove, math ain't working for you. You can drive a truck. You can you know what I'm saying? You can do some other things. There's some other skills that you can learn to
Oh
where
yeah.
you don't have to get out here and struggle for your family like I did. Because and that's what I teach them. I don't want you getting out here having to work as hard as I did because you didn't make better decisions when you had the opportunity. It won't that my dad won't pushing me or my mama won't pushing me. They did. I had the best parents in the world. And I'm sure you can say the same. Had the
Yep.
best parents in the world.
Yep.
But ultimately the decision was mine and I did not make the right decisions. But I'm trying to make sure my children don't make those decisions.
Squander. Yeah. Don't follow the same steps we did. Yeah.
Right.
Whew, I made some terrible decisions, but I'm thankful made it this far. I'm here. But yeah, bro. Like you, it's plenty of trades out there you can learn. They can learn. I'm gonna teach mine and teach mine the same thing. My 16-year-old want to go to work. He don't even want to play sports. He ain't looking at sports. He's trying to get out there and work, get that money. Cool. Do your thing. I like that. Yeah, I like that. My 8-year-old want to run track. He want to run track bag. And I'm trying to find something for him to do
Right.
somewhere around in school so he can be able to run track. But at the same time, I want him to know that he got to find him a trade too. Like your second option. If that don't work out, what's next? Like you said, what's next? What can you get your hands into that'll help you make and be able to provide for your family with less stress? You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my 4-year-old, he ain't ready yet. I'm working on him though.
Oh Jay. Man,
I'm
and
working
look,
on him though.
okay, so let me I wanted to have the video up maybe next time. I don't know. I could not figure it out this time. But there was a video that somebody sent me,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a pastor who called the family on stage. And he calls the family on stage
Mm-hmm.
and he looks at the family and they're standing mother, daughter, father. And so he says, y'all don't even know what y'all did wrong, but y'all messed up already. And they were like trying to figure out, what did we do? What did we do? And then as they figured it out, the wife was trying to pull the husband. He said, no, no, don't pull the husband. He said, don't pull your husband now. You that's how we do in life. He said, we let the children come between the husband and the wife. And so
Mm.
his illustration was, he pulled the children out. He said, before you had children, y'all were like this, y'all were together. But then when you had children, you let the children come in between y'all. So then as the children get older and they go off to college and they go their way, then there's this big gap in between y'all. So that's where all the fighting and the arguments come from, because you let your children get in between your marriage. You let your children become more important than each other. And so he was saying, this is how it should be. So then he put the husband and the wife together, and then he brings in the two daughters. He brings one daughter in on one side and one daughter on the other side, and said, now they're on the side of the parents. So then when they get old and they go off to college, they go this way, they go that way, and you're still together. And I was like,
Wow.
man,
Wow.
that's powerful. Because when you think about it, a lot of times we do allow our children, and not necessarily in a bad way,
Right.
but as children are coming up, you birth a child, that child tends to need a lot of your time, attention, and affection.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're giving the child all it needs, nourishing that baby, and maybe breastfeeding or whatever is going on, you're slowly drifting apart.
Apart.
Drifting
Wow.
apart. And again, it may not always, sometimes it's a malicious drifting apart, where I'm sick of you, you sick of me, but we got children. So let's just make the best for the children, and we're going to go our way. That's not healthy for the children.
No.
Now, again, we're Menspiration. This is the Menspiration podcast. We're inspiring men to be great. We're inspiring men to be bold and courageous and godly.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not for the destruction of families. We're not for the divorcing of families. We're not for because in a divorce, when you actually sit down and break it down, in a divorce, it comes from selfishness. The parent A or husband is thinking about what's best for him. Wife is thinking about what's best for her. Nobody's thinking about what's best for the
The
children.
children. Mm-hmm.
And husband ain't thinking about what's best for his wife, and wife ain't thinking about what's best for her husband. And so then we just let it go.
Mm.
And the husband suffers, the wife suffers.
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, they turn to quickie relationships to kind of ease the pain, to kind
Rebound
of
relationship.
self-medicate. So
Mm-hmm.
as the old saying goes, the quickest way to get over somebody is
Is
to
to
get
get
under
under
somebody
somebody.
else.
Mm-hmm.
That's wrong.
Very
But
much.
in this, you are confusing, you are hurting, and you are damaging the psyche of your children. What did this breakup do to your children? What did this divorce do to your children? What did the splitting up of this union do to your children? You never considered them.
Mentally, emotionally, none of it's thought of in that time or that process. It's only selfishness that's being thought of in that situation.
And
Yeah.
so it's mind you, we will be the first men to tell you, to admit to you that marriage is hard. Marriage is hard work.
Yes, it is.
Marriage is not easy. If here's the thing. Here's one thing, in my personal opinion. You tell me if you disagree. one thing I believe that men have a leg up on women is as a woman is born, born, grows into a child, to a young lady, to a woman,
Mm-hmm.
they are, if they had good parenting, they are treated like princesses. They are hugged and loved and given all the affection in the world.
Mm-hmm.
When and look at it in these simple ways. A little girl falls and scrape her knee, you pick her up and she crying and you cleaning it off and you bandaging her up and you, oh baby, and you hugging her, rightfully so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When little Jace or little Junior fall and scrape it, you good? All right, get up, go ahead on now.
Take it
Be
off.
careful,
All
right?
right.
Shake it off, right? Us men, for the most part, have been taught. Let me say it this way because it's menspiration and this is inspiration for men.
Mm-hmm.
Us men who were taught by real men, whether it be a father or a stepfather or whoever, us men who were taught by real men or uncle or whoever, you had some real men guidance in your life. We automatically grow up with that second nature understanding that, okay, life is a little different for me as a man. Life is a little different for a boy. Boys can fall down and hurt themselves, and daddy say, all right, get up, shake it off. You a man, come on.
Man up.
And
You got it.
when my sister fell and she scraped her knee, they hugged her and they kissed her and the da-da-da-da. Because there's a different type of nurturing that a man, a young boy needs that is not the same for a young woman.
Mm-hmm.
However, the result is as that young lady grows up with good daddy, good brothers, people looking out for her and teaching her how a woman should be treated, they kind of get a little jaded in their eyesight where they look at movies, they look at TV, they listen to the music sometimes, and they get,
Conflicted.
the little googly eyes, and they think that this is going to be some fairy tale. Every little girl wants a big wedding with a nice big old cake and that knight in shining armor standing at the altar and everything's all beautiful and all of their family and loved ones fill the church and it's just perfect until real life hits. And one of the
Mm-hmm.
big blinders that hit you, one of the big 18-wheelers that come right smack dab at you, is when you end up at the justice of the peace getting married and you didn't have that big wedding. This is not what I imagined.
Yeah.
This is not
First
what
thing that comes up.
this is not how I dreamt it in my
Imagine
head.
my wedding. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like this wasn't it. I thought we were going to have a nice church wedding or we are going to have a nice beach wedding and yeah, we got enough money to pay for a justice of the peace wedding. And it's like, whoa, I'm not ready for this. Marriage already starting off wrong. And I can tell you this. Many times, I ain't saying always, I ain't giving no number because I don't know, I ain't done the research. But many times, the marriage that started at the courthouse lasts longer than those marriages that they spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on a wedding. A lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Because when two people love each other so much that they say, look, man, I don't care about that money. We ain't got it right now. We still trying to figure things out. But I want to live right. I want to live godly. So we're going to get married. Let's go to the justice of the peace and let's get it done. Let's get it over with. And then somewhere down the line, they end up having their wedding or whatever. A lot of those marriages last longer and are more successful and are more full of love and compassion than some of those marriages where they spared no expense. They went off this place and they had all their family fly out and they did all of that. And then the marriage don't last 6 months.
Speak on. Speak on it. Man, hey, the justice of the peace, when they go, you hear a lot of times, I've heard it plenty of times myself, that I love you, I'll marry you, whether it's just me, you, and the judge. It don't matter where we at. You know what I'm saying? That's some love. And I've seen how long marriages like that last. Check on my brother, for example. And his wife got married at the justice of the peace.
Right.
You know? They didn't have no big extravagant wedding.
Right.
You know, it was a few people there. And they still rocking.
Right.
Happily. I'm happy for them. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I've seen it. I've seen it and witnessed it. So you're speaking nothing but the truth. Women grow up differently from men, because we grew up. We're well. When I was growing up, we was taught at an early age that we got to be strong.
Yeah.
We got to be able to hold our own and make sure whatever woman we get, they're straight.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So I was trained early. My uncles, my dad, even my mama. Believe it or not, my mama. My mama raised me and my brother for a long time before my stepfather came in. I thank God for him too. So
Right.
yeah, we was raised right. So I, I knew how my mama wanted to be treated and how I wanted my mom to be treated. So when I get my wife, I know how I want her to be treated and how she should be treated. And
Right.
that's where I go from there. You know what I'm saying? I
Oh, yeah.
always like to see my mama with a smile on her face. I always want to see my wife with a smile on her face. That's it. It's not going to always be that way, because
Right.
life is going to life regardless.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Life is going to life. But at the same time, if you love the woman that you're with, and women, if you love the man that you're with, life ain't going to take over what y'all got going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's
And
what
you
I'm.
know what? When you think about what the Bible says, um, that the wife is a helpmeet to her husband and vice versa, the husband a helpmeet to his wife. That when you go through things, when you struggle, when you suffer, when you got health problems, when you got money problems, financial problems, when you got uh, 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 all sorts of problems, whatever problems you may have, when you have these problems, but you have someone in your corner supporting you, just that gentle touch, rubbing your back, so to speak, letting you know it's going to be all right. We got
You
this.
already.
It makes you want to fight. It
What?
makes you want to and see, like, that's why I don't understand why more men don't want to get married. Now I understand that some men are like, man, that's a lot of responsibility. But here's my thing. Here's my thing. You don't want the responsibility of honoring this young lady. You don't want the responsibility of providing for and protecting this young lady, but you will take from her what her prized possession is. That sounds very, very selfish to me. That sounds very one-sided to me. I forget who said it. God, no, I wish Chant was up here tonight. But I forget who said it, but he said the quote is, any man who awakens a woman's love with no intention to love her back, something is something to that
I
effect.
think I
But
think I
but but
remember
you,
that.
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you start a woman up, you get her uh uh her heart moving, because it don't take much. You love a woman, you treat her good, and you show her what no other man is showing her. You treat her right, you take care of her, you look out for her. That woman is going, if she got good sense, she's going to love you. She's going to
Mm-hmm.
fall for you. Why
Mm-hmm.
would you do that knowing that you have no good intentions for her? That all you want to do is handle your business. Would you want the same thing for your
Your
daughters?
daughter.
Would you
Right.
want some trifling little girl doing that to your sons, that she knows she don't want him, but you see he loves her, you see he cares, and it happens every day. You see he loves her, you see he cares about her. He working, make his little money, and he's spending on her. And every time you turn around, she had been another man's face. You wouldn't want that for your son. Why do we think it's okay? That's a double standard. That's a horrible double standard.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand that.
Why would you take from somebody with no intention to give? You want to take her, you want all of her, but you don't want to give any of yourself. You want what she got, but you're not willing to pay the price. No. From what I learned, you pay the cost to be the boss.
That's right.
You want this woman? You take her hand in marriage and you do it the right way.
Take on all the responsibilities.
When you have children by this woman, those children are watching you, Dad. And now inspiration ain't just inspiration. We getting you dad's told too. We getting you dad straight.
Yes, sir.
You laid with this woman and you popped the baby in her. You was big and bad enough to do that. Then you should be big and bad enough to marry her. You should be big and bad enough to live faithfully with her. You should be big and bad enough to honor her. You should be big and bad enough to raise your sons and your daughters to see you, even though you're not perfect. They should be able to see something in you that they should want to model after themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I saw how, I can remember how my dad treated my mom. Was my dad perfect? By no means. But I saw how my dad treated my mom. I saw how my dad went to any lengths to do for my mom. Even when my dad was in the wheelchair the last 5 years or so of his life, for Valentine's Day, we knew he couldn't get out. So me or maybe one of my other brothers or so, we would go and buy him flowers and, card and candy for mom and give it to him for him to give to her. And she would stand. I think I even got a picture of that on my Facebook. And he gives her these flowers. And he couldn't even close his hands enough to hold them. He was paralyzed. So, from the chest down, and he couldn't even hold these flowers, but he's holding them the best he can. And my mom's just crying because she knew he couldn't get up out that bed and go get these flowers. She knew somebody else went and got it for him. But I remember, if I'm wrong, Lord forgive me, but I believe I'm correct, where I could almost remember my daddy telling me, Chico, get me something for your mother. No problem. You ain't got to ask me twice.
Right.
You had to ask me. I was going to do it anyway. Or one of us, me, Champ Keller, whoever, would have done it anyway. But he knew, even in his state where he couldn't get up and do for himself, he knew what was important, and it was that woman. He loved D.
Mm-hmm.
He loved D. I've never seen a man love their woman like my dad loved my mom. And so even though my dad was imperfect, he gave me something that I wanted to model myself after. And so then even as I try and fail daily to love my wife, I remember how daddy did it. Mind you, you know my mama.
Yeah.
My mama was hard-headed. My mama was hard-headed. I can hear daddy fussing at her right now. But he loved D.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I remember that when my wife is hard-headed, I think about it and I'm like, she's just like my mama. But guess what? What man who loves their mother, who was raised by a good mother, no matter if she was hard-headed, whatever, but what man who loved his mother does not want a wife just like his mother? What? Somebody to remind him of his mother.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yes. Speak on. No, you telling the truth, man. I can't even do too much after that, bro. Because that's the truth. If you really love your mother, and the love that you receive from your mama, when you find a wife, and from what I understand, when you find a wife, you see a lot of your mother in that wife. Mm-hmm. Right or wrong?
Oh, yeah.
a lot of some of the same traits. That's what draws you to her. That's what makes you want to marry her. That's what makes you
Right.
want to love her. You know
Because
what
if I'm just cutting in real quick, you
I'm
finish.
saying? Yeah, yeah.
But just what you're saying, we see that thing, even sometimes the hard headedness. Yeah, my mama was hard headed too, but you see those qualities that
Yes.
nobody could love me like my mother. Nobody could show compassion to me like my mother. Nobody could nurture me like my mother. And I see that in my wife, the way she deals with my children. And before my children, the way she dealt with me, it was like that was the thing that drew me to her because I see that love that she has, that that's the kind of woman I want raising my
My
children.
kids, right? Yes. Yeah, that's what I see in my wife. Like I said, my mom raised me and my brother for the longest, and she did one heck of a job, and I can't complain. My stepdad came in, he took over, and it just got better from there. But again, I see the same traits in my wife that my mom had. You know what I'm saying? All the love that so we got 4 boys. One heck of a job. I excuse my language, one hell of a job.
No, you
Because
good.
she does it well. You know what I'm saying? And I I love my wife to death. She knows this. I go to the ends of the earth for her. She knows that. So if you find your wife, man, you find a woman that you you find a woman that makes your day that much better just by seeing her.
Right.
You got you one, boy.
Yes,
You
sir.
find a woman that lets you know she gonna hold you down regardless of what you go through in life. Your ups, your downs, your unbalance, your waking up in the morning on the wrong side of the bed, waking up in the morning good. She gonna still be there to have you and hold you down. You got you one. That's your wife right there. You know what I'm saying? If she show you the love, like you said, no woman can love you like your mother.
Right.
There's nothing like a mother's love, period. That's just it. But your wife can compare very, very close to it. You know what I'm saying? That's your wife. That's my baby. So yeah, man, if you find your woman that can hold you down like that, that treats you like that, that loves you like that, marry that woman.
Right. Right. And
Marry
you know
that
what?
woman.
I say it the way God said it, the way the Bible says. The Bible says, any man who finds a wife finds a good thing.
Good thing. Yes, sir.
You find a good thing. Now that don't mean all because you find a good thing don't mean she always gonna be good. No,
No, no,
no,
no. They
no.
got
Because
me.
guess what? Just as good as we talking about our wives right now, I can turn around and tell you, Lord, this one is working my nerve today. But even on the rough days, I would not trade my wife for anything. I
For
wouldn't trade
nothing.
my life for anything. Why? Because broke, busted, disgusted, whatever you want to call it. When you took your vows said, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, till death do us part.
Yep.
And when I came to Jesus, what I did before then is whatever I did before then. But when I came to Jesus, when I understood Jesus as my Lord and Savior, when I submitted to his authority and his lordship, then when I took those vows, I took them seriously.
Very serious.
Okay, okay, you got me now.
Mm-hmm.
For better or for worse, in sickness and in health, to death do us part. You got me now.
Yeah, ain't no running now.
Yeah,
Oh, you locked in. Ain't no
yeah.
running now.
And
Yes,
so
sir.
we come with the understanding, and for the ladies that might be listening to this, that understanding or that idea that sometimes I ain't saying all women, I don't know all women, but um sometimes that fairy tale idea that women get in their head sometimes, ladies, y'all gotta let that go. That's not real. It's
Yeah.
not real. And I'm gonna tell you what it does. It tends to it tends to make things harder on your husband when you have that fairy tale thing. You're thinking all ooey gooey and goo goo gaga and the big heart eyes, and then when real life happens, when the bills is due and the money ain't there, then a argument happens, or you want your child to dress like this, and the husband said, "No, they ain't dressing like that." Or you want to do this with the child, and the husband say, "Yeah, no." Or you want to do this with your child, and the wife say, "I don't like that idea." When you don't always agree, when disagreements happen, when um arguments happen, do you tuck tail and run? Or do you say, chalk this under one of the bad days?
Mm-hmm.
And same thing when the good days happen. When you're on the top of the mountain and the sun is shining and the flowers are blooming and everything is beautiful and everything is perfect. Chalk that under one of the good days.
Good days, yeah.
But don't let the good days, don't disregard the good days. Don't forget the good days when a bad day happens. And remember that the good days are coming again when the bad times seem to last for a little while. Understand that, as the old church songs say, trouble don't last always. That we're going to get through this too. As long as we are committed to our love. And the Bible makes it clear that even if, as a husband, some way, somehow, you are not committed to your wife, you should be committed to God. And if you are committed to God, then God is going to tell you to love your wife like Christ loved the church, and vice versa. If if the wife is not necessarily committed to the husband, she ready to bounce. But if you honor God, if you love God, then God says in his word, submit yourself to your own husband as unto the Lord. So then you can't find an out. When you're doing things God way, when you're trying to honor God, when you seek to honor God, you're doing things God's way. Ain't no out for the husband and ain't no out for the woman, unless the few exceptions, and those few exceptions being infidelity. If somebody cheats, then you don't have to leave, but that does break the agreement, and God does allow you to leave if that happens. But there are so many marriages that have grown stronger and stronger and better following infidelity than those who get into happy situations after infidelity. Because you got to look at it this way: there are some marriages, some relationships who dealt with infidelity and they stayed together, they worked through it, that somehow, some crazy way, that made their bond stronger. Then
Mm-hmm.
there are other cases where there was infidelity and they decided, okay, we're going to go our separate ways. And it didn't make them better. That family broke up, that unit broke up. So then that's another bitter baby daddy, bitter baby mama going through court, fighting back and forth over the children.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a witness of that. I know it. I know what I'm saying to be absolutely true. And so we like, we don't understand. We don't get it. Like, I was reading something yesterday and they said it was cheaper to keep her. I think dealing with Iman Shumpert. Did you hear about that?
Oh
Iman
man,
Shumpert
did
and
I?
what's her face? Tiana Taylor.
Tiana Taylor.
Yeah, they
Yes.
broke up. They
I
got a
hear.
divorce, and Iman Shumpert was ordered to pay her $8,000 a month for two, so $16,000 a month for the kids in child support, and he's supposed to pay her a one-time seven-figure payment, so millions of dollars, a one-time
Mm.
seven-figure payment, and she got four houses worth a total of $10 million.
Yep.
So the more successful you are, fellas, yes, it is cheaper to keep her, but we ain't going with that. That's what is right to be said is that the more successful you are, the more valuable your marriage is. Because men, you have a whole lot more to lose. Now, and we understand it, and this is something we need to talk about too. Real quick. We going into an hour, so we want to finish up right at the hour mark. So we got about 5 minutes. So okay, you think about it. When women are single, women with children, they do not have a problem finding a place to stay. But the government ain't giving a man no place to stay.
No.
We not getting Section 8. We're not getting we're not getting help from the government to no, you better figure it out. That woman and them children, they're gonna find a place for them to go. But you, Joker, you better figure it out. And we got to understand that the way society is built, it's not built for men to succeed. So then we got to work that much harder to make it in life. Matter of fact, when we really look at it, I think we talked about this one time. When you really look at it, you understand that when society sets it up, when the government sets it up for women and children to stay in like the projects or whatever, you can't have no man out there. Not. You're not supposed to. You ain't supposed to have no man out there. You ain't supposed to have nobody living with you. You ain't supposed to have nothing. So, but basically, what's going on is they're keeping you away from that man. The thing that's going to make that family unit stronger, that thing that's going to make that family unit provided for and more protected, they're keeping you away from that. If you get a man, if you get a job and better yourself, your rent is going to go sky high to where there's no point in even staying there.
Mm-hmm.
So then what that does is keep people into a system. Well, I know if I go out and get me a decent job, or if I go to school and get me a decent job, then they're going to raise my rent and I ain't going to be able to afford to live. So then they keep us many times as black women, but they keep the family separated. They keep the family divided. The man, you figure it out or you don't figure it out. You end up selling drugs. You end up on drugs. You end up dead. We don't care. We'll take care of the women. We'll take care of the women and the children, but we don't care about no men. So then that is what menspiration comes from. Like, yo, we gotta wake up and see, hey, the only person who got our backs is God.
Yeah.
The only person who cares about us is God. And if you have a marriage, that unit cares about you. I don't care if the whole world is against me. As long as I got my loved ones, as long as I got my family got my back, we'll go out together. If we can't beat them, we'll go out together.
Mm-hmm. Us against the world.
Yeah,
That's how it started with me and my wife. Us against the world. Yep. If it was just me, her, and the kids, anything else we didn't worry about. We just made sure we was good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Out there in the world, you can't worry about what everybody else doing or what everybody else thinking. Your priority is you and your family. This is me speaking to the me as a man and a family man, as a man that love his family. You can't worry about what the world got going on. What you need to focus on is you and your family and making sure you walk in the right path and keeping Jesus on your mind and in your heart to help you through whatever situation you go through. Because in life, there are going to be times where, as a man, we want to figure everything out, but there are going to be times where we're going to be lost.
Right.
We're going to want to make the answer, but we're going to be lost. And we can't go to no one but that man upstairs. You know what I'm saying? I think you preached about this one Sunday, that as a man, we feel it's our duty to figure it out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever issue coming on, we got to figure it out. But then when we don't have the answer, who do we go to?
Right.
Because our family coming to us.
Right.
Right? So who do we go to? We got to go to that man upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
If we can't go to nobody else, we got to go to that man upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
You know, where our strength comes from. So that's what I see it. As a family man, we got to stay strong and stay focused on protecting ours, taking care of ours, and keeping our mind clear and focused and focusing on the man upstairs to get us and lead us the right way, man.
Man, well, we right here at an hour. Man, we want to thank y'all for hanging with us. We appreciate each and every one of y'all.
Yes, sir.
Subscribe to my channel if you have not already. We'll be doing more of these podcasts. Lord willing, we'll try to come back next week and have another show ready for y'all. But if you have not subscribed to New Crossroads Community Church on YouTube, please do so. And if you have, share our channel, share this podcast, share this video with somebody else so that way we can grow. We want to grow together. We want to grow with y'all. So hopefully next week or the next time, I won't say next week, but hopefully next week. But the next time we do a podcast, hopefully we'll have some more of our brothers up here to, to chime in and give us some more points of view. Man, Chris, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure, man.
Always,
I
brother.
enjoyed this time, and we're gonna do this again. We're gonna
Definitely.
So,
definitely.
Ladies and gentlemen, you got anything to say before we go?
No, I'm good, man. I just, like I said, I just appreciate you for having me on, bro. And we're gonna continue to do this, make this thing grow. And I'm with you, 100, bro.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you from New Crossroads Community Church. This is Pastor Jacob, my brother Chris, or this way, my brother Chris, and we'll catch you on the next one. Men, be inspired. Get inspired. God bless you.
Bless you.